What's up, guys? We're back with a full slate of MLB action here on Sunday, May 4th. We're going to give out plays on every MLB game on the slate and both NBA playoff games out there. I'll give you my dog of the day and pick out my massive lock, my pick that I think, regardless of price, has the highest chance of cashing today. Slam that like button and subscribe to the channel if you want to keep seeing these videos every single day, and let us know what you're thinking in the comments. I personally answer every comment every single day. Check the pinned comment throughout the day to see our favorite picks, and it pays to check back a couple of times per day to see if there are any changes with injury news coming out and starters being confirmed. Yesterday went pretty well. We had a nice Saturday out there. We started the day off hot. Minnesota-Boston meant under 9.5. It was a 4-3 game. Ober pitched out of tons of trouble once again, but hey, we'll definitely take it, cashing our bet pretty comfortably. We had the Mariners minus 135. That was a close one, a 2-1 win there for the Mariners, so we'll definitely take the win. Castillo was lights out in that game, so definitely nice to see that. Now, we did throw a no-run first inning in there. That was maybe a mistake, or definitely a mistake in this case, because we had the Chicago-Milwaukee no-run first inning, and Quintana just decided to have his worst start of the season on us, so that was pretty annoying, but bounced back quickly. We had the win in the Kansas City-Baltimore under 8.5. That was a 4-0 win there for Kansas City, and an easy cash for us. On the basketball side, the Nuggets closed things out easily there against Houston, and Westbrook had a very productive night, had 5 rebounds, just barely enough for us to cash our prop, but that will definitely work. On the dog of the day side, we had Tampa Bay plus 150. It wasn't our favorite dog of the day that we've ever had, but it ended up being plenty good enough to end up in the pinned comment, and it worked out for sure. They come through. Zach Littell, the old twin brother, excellent out there, and some 8th inning offense for Tampa Bay gets us over the top, so cashing a nice plus 150 dog feels fantastic. Now, unfortunately, our lock of the day, the Tigers at minus 180, did not come through for us. Hendricks having his best start of the season there for the Angels somehow. I don't know how he pulled it off, and Flaherty gave up 5 runs despite striking out 8. The game ended 5-2 there with the Tigers trying to make a comeback against that terrible Angels bullpen. It just fell a little bit short, but 5-2 on the day and cashing a plus 150 dog worked in there. We will certainly take that, no problem there. So let's go ahead and jump into our first game of the slate here on Sunday. It's a day game, no shocker there. We got a ton of day games here. We have the New York Mets going on the road to take on the St. Louis Cardinals. The Mets and Cardinals will actually be playing game 1 of this doubleheader here in the morning, and then they'll be playing game 2 in the late afternoon to evening. So we're only going to be covering game 1 in this video. The Mets come into this one at 22-11 on the year. Obviously pretty happy with that. Now they're handing the ball in this one to Blade Tidwell, who's coming up from the minors to make this start. Now, he hasn't been killing it in AAA this year. He's 1-2, a 5 ERA, so not somebody we're necessarily super high on. He's got good stuff. We'll see how that actually works out here at the next level, but I'm not going to be super stoked to be backing somebody coming out. This is not an ideal situation. So we'll see what he does out there. The Mets bullpen has obviously been very good this year, taking a little bit of a step back recently, but they've been playing a ton of games. I think they're playing, 13 days in a row or something like that, and now they're playing a doubleheader. So maybe fatigue could be a little bit of an issue. In game 1 of this series, they did get a nice 9-3 win there against the Cardinals, and Pete Alonso's been absolutely killing it at the plate this year, batting nearly 350 with 8 home runs and 30 RBIs. The Mets overall looking like a solid offensive team. No major shock there. They got off to a bit of a slow start, but they're turning things on. They're 9th in the majors in runs scored, 10th in batting average. So we'll see what they can do here against the Cardinals, who are 14-19 on the year. Probably not super pumped about that start. They're hitting the ball to Eric Feedy, who's 1-3 this season, a 4.68 ERA. He got absolutely shelled his last time out there against Milwaukee. 5 2/3 innings, 10 hits, 7 earned runs allowed, and it was a 7-0 loss for the Cardinals, who are 0-5 over Feedy's last 5 starts. So that's not a great look. The Cardinals bullpen is also a huge problem. A 4.73 bullpen ERA has them 6th worst in the major leagues. And the offense, while it got off to an insane start, not looking quite so insane anymore, down to 11th in the majors in runs scored. Still 4th in batting average, but this is not a team that's going to be one of the top 10 offensive teams in the majors. That's just not going to be a thing. So looking at the numbers here, the Mets are minus 135. The Cardinals are plus 115. We've got a total of 8.5 in this one. The Mets 8-8 on the road, 20-12-1 to the under. The Cardinals 10-5 at home, 18-13-2 to the over. I'm not going to be backing Blade Tidwell in this one, but I'm also not going to be backing Feedy. Those bulls seem like terrible spots to me. I think this could be maybe a yes run first inning kind of game, or maybe one where we see over 8.5. I could wrap my head around either one of those, but yeah, not necessarily a spot that I see a ton of value. Next up, guys, in a game we have much more interest in, we're looking at the Kansas City Royals going on the road to take on the Baltimore Orioles. The Royals got that 4-0 win there in game 2 to even the series at 1 game apiece. We also cashed the under in that one, so if you enjoyed cashing that under, guys, slam that like button. The Royals are going to be handing the ball in this game to Michael Lorenzen, who's 3-3 this year, a 3.48 ERA. ERA. His last couple starts have been very good, giving up 1 earned run in each outing, and we saw the Royals win each one of those games. So very, very good stuff there. I'm sure he's feeling pretty confident about to take on the Orioles here. That Royals bullpen has been no joke this season. What are they, 7th in the majors right now? A 3.02 bullpen ERA, so that's awesome. And the offense seems like it's starting to find its way a little bit here. Biggio hitting that solo home run to double the Royals' lead there. That has to feel pretty good. Bubic pitching so well obviously feels great. We see Garcia leading the way, batting at 307 now. And yeah, the Royals just starting to look alive as an offense. 4-0, 8-3, and 3 runs over their last few isn't amazing, but it's better than what they had been getting. So they'll be hoping to keep things rolling here against the Orioles, who are now 13-19 on the year, off to a nightmare start. They're hitting the ball to Kyle Gibson, who's 0-1 this year with a 22.09 ERA. Now, he's only making his second start of the year. His first one, he got absolutely obliterated there by the Yankees. That's going to happen to some people. That's going to happen to some guys this season. But yeah, 11 hits and 9 earned runs, including 5 home runs. That's not going to happen to that many people. So Gibson obviously looking for a huge bounce back in this one. They need him to go deep into the games because the Baltimore bullpen is atrocious. A 4.69 bullpen ERA. Not good. Not good, guys. So not super high on Gibson or the Baltimore pitching situation in general. And the offense has been spluttering. 0, 3, 5, 3, and 4 runs over their last few games. This is not the Orioles offense of last season, guys. They're 20th in runs scored, 25th in batting average, and I think that's a more accurate representation of where this offense is at right now. So looking at the numbers, the Royals are plus 110. The Orioles are minus 130. We've got a total of 9.5. Kansas City 6-11 on the road, 22-11 and 1 to the under. Baltimore 8-8 at home, 15-14 and 3 to the under. I think under 9.5 is actually kind of reasonable in this game. I don't think Gibson's going to get obliterated like he got destroyed there against the Yankees. I guess it's not impossible, but that's not really what the Royals are doing this year. So maybe just a slight lean towards the under. It's a pretty big number. And I also think the Royals at plus 110 have a shot to end up as our dog of the day. Now, they're not a huge dog of the day, so they might not actually make it into that spot. But regardless, I think Kansas City at plus 110 could definitely end up in the pinned comment. Hopping in here real quick to remind you guys about StumpTheSpread.com, the sponsor of all of our videos. Click the link in the description to go over there and see our top confidence picks from our entire team of experienced cappers. Right now, our premium members are getting daily MLB, NBA, NHL, and UFC picks. Major League Baseball has been our most profitable sport the last 3 years running, and it's off to a great start to the year. At StumpTheSpread.com, you'll be able to see exclusive free picks only posted there, our free-to-use bet size calculator, and our premium top confidence picks, which might not and usually will not always match what you see here in the video, as I am not the premium capper there for Stump the Spread. You need to sign up for our free email newsletter as well. You only need to put in your name and your email address. That'll get you on the list, and you'll get free picks to your inbox once per day. There's also usually some sort of no-run first inning or some other sort of parlay in there. There's also information on things like NASCAR bets or golf or like all kinds of niche things. We've got guys with their fingers on the pulse of every major sporting event that you can possibly wager on. So definitely get over there, get on that free email list. It's well worth your time, and it only takes like 10 seconds. Also, guys, if you're a huge fan of what we do here every single day, click that little button below the video to join the channel as a channel member. Channel members are eligible for our members-only giveaways. We'll be giving away a Stump the Spread hoodie to one random channel member each month, and as we get more channel members, we'll be doing more and more giveaways each and every month. We're trying to get to 70 channel members. If that dream becomes a reality, guys, we will do 2 giveaways here in May. So definitely consider doing that. Members also get early access to our videos and get their names up on screen in every single video. Now, guys, let's hop back into this very crowded slate of Sunday games. Rolling right along, we're looking at the San Diego Padres going on the road to take on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Tatis, playing through a little bit of an injury, getting that, score there on the wild pitch. Crazy stuff there. A 2-1 win there for the Padres, who have won 4 in a row now. They're hitting the ball to Steven Kolek. He comes into this game going to be making his first start of the season coming out of the minors. This 28-year-old, we'll see how he does out there. I'm not, going to freak out either way about him, but I'm excited to see what he can do out there. I think I think there's a possibility if he has a nice outing. The Padres bullpen will be more than happy to hop in if he struggles, though a 1.79 bullpen ERA is insanely good, best in the majors in their offense. While they only scored 2 runs in their last game, has been very good this season. I mean, Tatis doing his thing out there looking like a monster despite, having to have x-rays on his arm after getting hit by a pitch. But yeah, 18th in the majors in runs scored, 3rd in batting average, 7th in on-base percentage. this team is due for a lot of offense to be coming up. They hit the ball way too well to score as few runs as they're scoring. So we'll see what they do here against the Pirates, who have now lost 3 in a row and 6 of their last 7. They're handing the ball to Andrew Heaney, hoping he can stem the tide. He's been good, 2-2, a 2.50 ERA. Now, his last time out, he was not good, and it was against a very good team, which he hasn't faced that many tough opponents, although he did have a good start against the Yankees also. But against the Cubs his last time out, 4 2/3 innings, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, gave up a couple home runs, walked 3, and struck out 0. So the control really wasn't there for Heaney. Now, he's had a good year in general, so I'm sure the Pirates are hoping he can take some pressure off of this beleaguered bullpen that's sporting a 4.26 ERA. It has not been good, and the offense has been awful for the Pirates recently. I mean, 1, 4, 3, and 4, and 0 runs over their last few games. Now, they're 25th in the majors in runs scored, 27th in batting average. I think this is just a pretty terrible offense. So looking at the numbers, I'm a little bit shocked to see them this close together. The Padres actually plus 102 there, I'm assuming, thanks to having Kolek on the mound. The Pirates are minus 120. We've got a total of 8.5. The Padres are 7-7 on the road, 18-13-1 to the under. The Pirates 7-11 at home, 17-16-1 to the under. I'm probably not taking under 8.5, guys, but I will lean towards the Padres here at plus 102. I think they're the far better team, even if Kolek doesn't have an amazing time right out of the gate. The bullpen will come in, save the day, and then you're going to get to take some at-bats against the Pirates bullpen, and that is going to be music to the ears of those Padres hitters. So definitely like the Padres here at plus 102, a decent amount. Next up, guys, you got to absolutely slam that like button if you liked this one, because we've got the Tampa Bay Rays going on the road to take on the New York Yankees, and we crushed that one yesterday. I mean, maybe not crushed. It was a one-run game, but we cashed a plus 150 underdog. So that feels pretty good. The Rays obviously coming off of that win. They're still only 15-18 on the year. Handing the ball to Taj Bradley, who's 2-2 this season, a 4.58 ERA. Thanks to a pretty bad start against the Yankees the last time he faced them. So that's a big concern. He went 5 1/3 innings, gave up 9 hits, 6 earned runs, and a home run, and a 6-3 loss there for Tampa Bay the last time he faced the Yankees back on the 17th. And his last time out against the Royals, 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs. That is a very solid start. Now, the Tampa Bay bullpen hasn't been the problem for them this year. It's a 2.83 bullpen ERA is 5th best in the major leagues. The problem is this lack of offense. I mean, they've scored 3-0, 2-0, and 1 run over their last few games. That's pretty much embarrassingly bad. They're 21st in the majors in runs scored, 19th in on base percentage, 15th in batting average. But I mean, I'm going to have a hard time picking out somebody I think is off to a hot start or really scares me up there at the plate for the Tampa Bay Rays. So we'll see what they can do here against the Yankees, who come into this game obviously fresh off that tough loss. Now they're 19-14 on the year. Not exactly killing it, but it's kind of been a down season from the AL East so far. They're hitting the ball in this one to Will Warren, who's 1-1, a 5.63 ERA. His last time out, he got knocked around pretty aggressively there by Baltimore, and the last time he faced Tampa Bay was not having a good time, guys. Only went 1 2/3 innings, gave it 4 hits and an earned run. Now, that was a 6-3 win there for the Yankees, so they'll take that, but they're going to need a little bit more from Will Warren in this one. The bullpen for the Yankees, that's not a problem. A 2.99 bullpen ERA right there, just about as good as Tampa Bay. So we'll see what they can get done in this one. The Yankees offense has been obviously transcendently good. Judge just hit his 11th home run. He got his 33rd RBI and is batting .432. The Yankees are the second highest scoring team in baseball and the second best batting average, the best slugging and on base percentages though. So a crazy good offense. Now, looking at the numbers, the Rays are plus 155. The Yankees are minus 190. We've got totals out there of 9 or 8.5. Tampa Bay is 6-5 on the road, 19-12-2 to the under. The Yankees 11-6 at home, 17-14-2 to the under. I'm not going to be messing with the total in this game. And in terms of the side, with Will Warren on the mound and Taj Bradley on the other side, I know he had a bad start against the Yankees his last time out. I'm still siding with the Tampa Bay Rays here at plus 155. Now, it's not going in the pin comment back-to-back days. They probably don't actually end up winning this game. But if you're asking me for the value side, it just has to be Tampa Bay at this point. I'm not backing the Yankees as 2-1 favorites with Will Warren on the mound. You're not talking me into it. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Cleveland Guardians going on the road to take on the Toronto Blue Jays. The Guardians 19-14 on the year. They're 1-1 so far in the series, winning game 2 there 5-3. They're hitting the ball to Tanner Bybee in this game. He's 2-2, a 4.36 ERA, fresh off another very nice start. It was against the Twins, so maybe not the most impressive opponent, but 7 innings, 5 hits, only a single earned run allowed on a solo home run, while striking out 5 and walking 0. Definitely does not look bad. So we'll see what he can do here against Toronto. We'll see what they get out of their bullpen there for Cleveland. A 3.80 bullpen ERA, while not a disaster, and something some teams would love. maybe not what I would quantify as elite. So we'll see what they can do to bring that back a little bit. The Guardians have won 4 out of their last 5, so I'm sure that feels nice. Stephen Kwan doing his thing. But yeah, over the course of the year, they're still only 21st in the majors in runs scored and 22nd in batting average. So not a team that I'm freaking out about offensively. Now, they're taking on a team that shouldn't be freaked out about offensively either in the Toronto Blue Jays, who are 16 and 17 on the year, hitting the ball in this game to Bowden Francis, who's 2-4 this season, a 5.28 ERA. Now, his last couple of starts have been bad. At Houston, gave up 8 hits and 3 earned runs. That's not good against a bad offense. It was also a 3-1 loss there for Toronto. And then his last time out got obliterated by the Boston Red Sox. So definitely a huge bounce back spot for him. We'll see if that actually happens. Now, the Toronto Blue Jays bullpen's been bad also, a 3.98 bullpen ERA. Not something you're wanting to see. And the offense for Toronto has been a problem all season long. I mean, they're 25th in the majors in runs scored. They are, what is it down to now? Oh, I guess 18th in the majors in batting average. So maybe that's headed in a positive direction. But I just cannot get super high on this offense whatsoever. I mean, they've scored 3, 5, 4, 7, and 2 runs over the last few. And that is a pretty hot hitting streak there for the Blue Jays. So looking at the numbers for this game, we see the Guardians at plus 100, the Blue Jays at minus 120. We've got totals of 8 or 8.5. Cleveland actually 8-9 on the road, so not terrible. They're a slight over team. Toronto 11-7 at home, 19-13-1 to the under. I'm not really interested in the total in this game, but I will take a little bit of a flyer there on the Cleveland Guardians at plus 100. I haven't liked what I've seen from Bowden Francis recently or that Toronto Blue Jays offense. So, yeah, I think the Guardians have a very decent chance to, steal a second game in this series. Rolling right along, guys, we're looking at the Sacramento Athletics going on the road to take on the Miami Marlins. Now, the Athletics took the 9-6 loss there in Game 2 of this series, but they're still 18-16 on the year, definitely overachieving a bit. They're hitting the ball to JP Sears in this game. He's 4-2, a 2.94 ERA. His last outing and his last 3 outings have been very, very good. They were, against the Rangers and the White Sox, so not the toughest hitting opponents, but in general, we've liked what JP Sears has done this year. How will he go up against a Marlins team? Has been pretty decent at the plate. We'll have to wait and see. Now, the Athletics bullpen has seemingly taken a step back this season. A 4.52 bullpen ERA is bad, but the offense is not bad, guys. They are 14th in the majors in runs scored, but 9th in batting average. Brent Rooker hitting the cover off the ball. Soderson hitting the ball really well. Jacob Wilson leading the team, batting .328. The Athletics have scored 6, 3, 7, and 2 runs over their last few games. We'll be wanting to see if they can keep that going here against the Marlins, who are 13-19 on the year. They needed that win their last time out to snap, a 6-game losing streak, so that's not ideal. Edward Cabrera is getting the start. He's 0-1 this season, a 7.23 ERA, and really hasn't had a great start this season. He's faced some tough opponents, like his last time out he got shelled by the Dodgers. That's going to happen, but have not been really happy with what we've seen from him on the bump this season. That Marlins bullpen's been even worse than the Athletics. A 4.89 bullpen ERA is a disaster, and their offense has not been great. I mean, they scored 9 runs yesterday. Okay, that's nice. But over the course of the year, they're 15th in the majors in runs scored, 7th in batting average, 15th in on-base percentage. So maybe they deserve to be given a little bit more respect than I'm giving them up there at the plate. So looking at the numbers for this one, the Athletics are minus 130. The Marlins are plus 110. We've got a total of 8.5. Sacramento is 12-7 on the road, a 500 over-under team. Miami is 9-9 at home, and they're 22-10 to the over this season. That's pretty bonkers, guys. I'm not very interested in the side in this one. Maybe you could talk me into the Athletics, but I really, really like over 8.5 in this one. It's got a great chance to end up in the pinned comment. I think we see plenty of offense out there in this day game, and yeah, both sides should be able to score. Neither team has a very good starting pitcher on the mound, and neither team has any kind of bullpen. Next on the docket, we're looking at the Arizona Diamondbacks going on the road to take on the Philadelphia Phillies. The Diamondbacks at 17-16 on the year are not off to the start they wanted, and they've lost both the games to open this series, so that cannot feel good, losing 7-2 there in Game 2. They're handing the ball to Eduardo Rodriguez, hoping he can turn things around for him. He's 1-3 this year, a 6.06 ERA, and he got obliterated at the Mets his last time out, and hasn't really had a great start since maybe back on the 11th against the Brewers. That was serviceable, but has not been a good series here, or a good season here for Eduardo Rodriguez. So the Diamondbacks probably looking for some help from their bullpen, but they are unlikely to get it. A 4.37 bullpen ERA is not great. The offense has also been spluttering. If this team's not scoring runs, they're not going to win many games, guys. They've scored 2, 4, 4, and 3 runs over their last few. They're down to 8th in the majors in runs scored, 14th in batting average. They got to score runs if they want to win here at the Diamondbacks have to. So we'll see what they can do against the Phillies, who've suddenly won 6 out of 7 and are up to 19-14 on the year. They're hitting the ball in this one to Ranger Suarez, who finished last year 12-8 overall with a 3.46 ERA. Now, he got off to an amazing start to the year. An amazing start to the year. We'll see what he can do. Now, we see Suarez coming off of a few four rehab starts in the minors. He put in a 1.08 ERA, struck out 24 batters and walking 5 across 16.2 innings. He only ramped up to 78 pitches during his final outing, so we'll see how many pitches they let him go in this one, but I am feeling real good about Ranger Suarez taking the mound in this one. Now, the Phillies bullpen, not so much. A 4.74 bullpen ERA for the Phillies is pretty embarrassing, but Ranger Suarez, I think, has found a pretty good spot to come back. If you're going to come back against the Arizona Diamondbacks, you at least want to be doing it when they're swinging some cold bats. So I'm pretty excited about him. Not excited about the Phillies bullpen. The offense is figuring it out, though. 7, 3, 2, 7, 6, and 3 runs over their last few. Schwarber's been an amazing power hitter this year. No shock there. Trey Turner's batting over 300. They're 13th in the majors in runs scored, 11th in batting average, but 5th in on-base percentage. This team is gonna put up some runs, especially against a pretty bad starter. So looking at the numbers, the Diamondbacks are plus 110. The Phillies are minus 130. We've got totals of 9 or 8.5. Arizona's 9-8 on the road, 15, 14, and 4 to the over. The Phillies are 13-5 at home, 18-15 to the under. I know Arizona's due to win a game here, but it's not going to happen against Ranger Suarez. It could theoretically happen against that Phillies bullpen, so I'm not saying this bet is not without risk, but I definitely think you want to be on the Phillies here at minus 130. With Suarez on the mound having pitched so well in those rehab starts, I think that translates to the big leagues here pretty smoothly. Now, guys, out to the NL Central, looking at the Chicago Cubs going on the road to take on the Milwaukee Brewers. The Cubs at 21-13 are kind of running things out there in the NL Central right now. They're fresh off of winning the both games to start the series, winning 10-0 and 6-2 there at Milwaukee. The Cubs are going to be hitting the ball in this one to Shota Imanaga, hoping he can just keep this thing rolling. He's 3-1 this season, a 2.77 ERA, but his last start against the Pirates, 5 innings, 6 hits, no runs allowed, and a 9-0 win there for the Cubs. So I'm sure they feel pretty good about him on the mound. He's had a couple hiccups, but when your hiccups are against teams like the Dodgers, I think you get a little bit of slack. So expecting good stuff from Imanaga. The Cubs bullpen's been showing improvement here recently, down to a 4.41 ERA is not great, but it's steps in the right direction. The offense has been the best offense in Major League Baseball this season. They've scored the most runs. They have the highest team batting average. They are the second highest slugging percentage team. Guys like Nico Hoerner, Kyle Tucker, all been off to great starts. So loving what we're seeing from the Cubs at the plate here as they go on the road to take on these Brewers, who are not having a great time. They've dropped 3 in a row. Yeah, it seems like they've lost their edge, and I'm not the only one saying that, if you know what I mean. Now, they're going to be hitting the ball to Freddie Peralta on this one. He's 3-2, a 2.52 ERA. His last time out, though, gave up 2 earned runs on 3 hits. There were a couple of home runs there against the Chicago White Sox. It was a 7-2 win there, but not the best look. We'll see what he can do against the Cubs. Not exactly, the easiest team to face. The bullpen for Milwaukee's been atrocious, too. A 4.98 bullpen ERA is a pretty huge yikes, and the offense has been nowhere to be found recently. They've scored 2, 0, and 0 runs over the last few games. You guys got shut out by the White Sox the other day. Like, that is, holy cow, some sort of embarrassing. Now, they are still 9th in the majors in runs scored. They're 13th in on-base percentage, but their slugging percentage numbers are horrendous. So not super high on the Brewers at the plate. The odds makers think this is about a coin flip, though, which is kind of shocking to me. The Cubs are minus 109. The Brewers are minus 105. We've got a total of 7.5. The Cubs are 12-6 on the road. That's an MLB best road mark. They're also a significant over team. Milwaukee, 9-6 at home. They're 22-10 to the over. That's an MLB best to the over. So just based on trends going into this game, I'll take a flyer there on over 7.5. It's a small number. Both teams score runs. I think we could see 8 runs in this game without too much trouble, despite 2 pretty good starters on the mound. But I think Imanaga is by far the better starter, and that is one of the big reasons I'm going with the Chicago Cubs here at minus 109. I think they take care of business here and earn their 3rd straight win in Milwaukee. Next up, guys, I think the Houston Astros going on the road here to take on the Chicago White Sox. The Astros look like they were going to lose 2 games in a row to the White Sox. So that would have been a pretty bad look, but they did figure out and win their last one 8-3. They're hitting the ball in this game to Lance McCullers Jr., who's, comes into this game, guys, fresh off of the injured list there with that forearm issue. We'll see what he can do out there. Not somebody that I think is going to come right in and save the day for the Astros, but we'll see what happens. Now, the bullpen for the Astros has been amazing. A 2.74 bullpen ERA, no problems there. The offense has not been good, guys. They're coming off a game where they scored 8 runs. Cool. You're still only 23rd in the majors in runs scored, and you are, 19th in the majors in batting average? I don't know, guys. Altuve's leading the way. Jose Altuve leading the way. with 4 home runs. This is not a very good or a very scary offense, at least. So we'll see what they do here against the White Sox, who are obviously terrible. They're 9-24 on the year. Hitting the ball in this one to Bryce Wilson, who comes in this game. He hasn't figured in a result yet. He's primarily a bullpen guy, like a long relief guy. The last time he started a game was at the Twins. He gave up 5 hits and an earned run over only 2 2/3 innings of work and a 6-3 loss there for the White Sox. So not somebody that I'm super high on. We'll see what he can do. The White Sox bullpen, obviously not an amazing bullpen, but not as bad as last season, or at least not yet. A 4.55 bullpen ERA does leave lots to be desired. And once again, they're a terrible offense. I mean, 24th in the majors in runs scored, but second to last in slugging percentage, 28th in batting average. Like, yeah, you've scored some runs recently. That is not likely to continue. So looking at the numbers here, I can understand why the odds makers have the Astros at -220 and the White Sox at +180. We've got a total of 8.5 in this game. Houston 6-8 on the road, 16-14-2 to the under. The White Sox 6-11 at home, 16-15-2 to the over. I'll lean just slightly here towards that under, but really, guys, not a spot that I'm very interested in. Neither guy has really, this is just like an indictment of both offenses, really, to be leaning towards the under. Not a game that I'm going to be playing. Next up, we're looking at the Seattle Mariners going on the road to take on the Texas Rangers. The Mariners come into this game absolutely on fire. They've now won 6 straight to get to 20-12 on the year, establishing a nice little lead there in the AL West. They're hitting the ball to Logan Evans, who's 1-0 this year, a 3.60 ERA. His first start of his, was that his entire career? Yeah, I believe that was a first career start against the Marlins. 5 innings, 2 hits, 2 earned runs allowed, struck out 3 and walked 3. Not too shabby there when we do see the win there for the Mariners. Now, we'll see if he can back it up here against a pretty, poor hitting Rangers team. The Mariners bullpen's been excellent. Well, maybe not excellent. Maybe excellent's a bit of a stretch, but been very good. A 3.60 bullpen ERA, and the offense is where this team has really turned things around. They scored 2, 13, 9, 5, 7, and 14 runs over the last few games. There's the 6th highest scoring offense in the majors. Cal Raleigh smashing a grand slam the other day. That was pretty cool. They're second in the majors on base percentage. This team can hit the ball. They can hit the crap out of it. So we'll see what they do against the Rangers, who are 16-18 on the year. They've lost 4 in a row. They're hitting the ball to Jacob deGrom, who's 1-1 this season, a 2.73 ERA as he tries to make his way back to his dominant form. Some bad news. The last time he faced the Mariners, it was at Seattle. 4 innings, 3 hits, 3 earned runs allowed, and gave up a couple of home runs. He walked 4 and struck out 4, but that was pretty early on, and it seems like he's kind of righted the ship. I would say his last 3 starts have all been very, very good. So we'll see what deGrom can do out there. I'm not going to be holding my breath for him to have an amazing start, but it's definitely a thing that could happen. Now, the bullpen situation for the Rangers is not good. A 4.08 bullpen ERA has them in the bottom half of the majors, and the offense is really the problem, guys. They scored 1, 1, 0, 1, and 15 runs over the last few games. That's not going to really work. They're 29th in the majors in runs scored, 28th in on-base percentage. Just not a good offense. There's no way around it. They're not going to get a lot of guys across the plate. So looking at the numbers for this game, we see the Mariners at +150, the Rangers at -180. We've got totals out there of 8 or 8.5. Seattle 6-8 on the road, 18-12-2 to the over. The Rangers 11-8 at home, 24-10 to the under. That's an MLB best mark to the under. I think this is a very reasonable spot to look at under 8.5. There's still 8.5s out there. I think you should jump on that. I think that's very, very reasonable. You could also talk me into the Mariners here at +150, especially if we think it's going to be a super low scoring game. That means, the underdog's going to have its chances. I think Logan Evans, he threw the ball well in his first outing. I'm willing to give the young guy some credit, and that Seattle bullpen is good. So maybe just a tiny lean towards the Mariners at +150, but not a big enough lean to make them my dog of the day. My favorite play on this one is definitely that under 8.5. Next up, we're looking at the Detroit Tigers taking on the Los Angeles Angels. Now, the Tigers let us down big time as our lock of the day yesterday, so that's pretty annoying. They're still up to a good start, 21-13 on the season. They're hitting the ball to Reese Olson, hoping he can get them back on track here in Game 4 of this season. Series, Olson is 3-2 this year, a 3.55 ERA. His last time out, a pretty decent start against Houston. Unfortunately for him, we did see the Tigers take the loss there, 6-4. But 5 2/3 innings and 3 earned runs isn't a disaster start. Now, other than that, he's been lights out this year, very, very good. So expecting him to bounce back here pretty strongly against an Angel team that's not great at the plate. The Tigers' bullpen's been a big part of their early success. A 2.62 bullpen ERA is dominant stuff. And the offense, while they only put up 2 runs yesterday against Kyle Hendricks, which wild stuff, but I expect a big bounce back for them. McKinstry swinging the ball well. Torkelson been hitting the cover off the ball this year. They're 7th in the majors in runs scored, 8th in the majors in batting average. Tyler Green killing it, obviously. So, yeah, expecting very, very good stuff from this offense out there, especially in this matchup against the Angels, who are 13-19 on the year, handing the ball to Jack Kohanowitz, who's 1-4 this season, a 5.29 ERA. His last time out, a very serviceable start, 6 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs. He did give up a home run there at Seattle, but eventually we see, the Angels lose that game 5-3. So not exactly somebody that I'm thrilled to have on the mound if I'm an Angels fan, but we'll see what he does. We know that Angels bullpen is going to be bad. A 6.60 bullpen ERA is embarrassing, and the offense not looking great. Obviously, Mike Trout dealing with an injury now, and yeah, they're down to last in the majors in on base percentage, and yeah, we'll see what happens. But Trout being on the IL and then being 29th in the majors in batting average doesn't really fill me with optimism. Now, looking at the numbers, the Tigers are minus 167, the Angels are plus 145, got a total of 8.5. Detroit 8-9 on the road, 16-15-2 to the under. The Angels are 5-6 at home, 16-14-1 to the over. I'm going to lean towards the Tigers here at minus 167 pretty hard, and this has a very real chance to be our lock of the day because they're going to bounce back after a bad showing there on Saturday in a huge way. I like Reese Olson on the mound a good amount. I think Kohanowitz is a great guy to fade, and I always want to fade that Angels bullpen, so go ahead and give me the Tigers in this one as a pretty big lean that has a chance to be our lock of the day. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Washington Nationals going on the road to take on the Cincinnati Reds. The Nationals come into this game fresh off an 11-6 win there in Game 2 of this series. So a nice little bounce back for a team that's only 15-19 on the year. Now they're handing the ball to Mackenzie Gore in this game. He's 2-3, a 3.51 ERA. He's coming off of a mediocre start at the Phillies. I mean, 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs against the Phillies looks okay, but giving up 2 home runs kind of loses some of its shine. And they did, we did see the Nationals eventually lose that game 7-6. We'll see what he can do out there against a Reds team that's a little bit different than facing the Phillies. Now, the bullpen situation for Washington is hilariously bad. A 6.79 bullpen ERA, the worst in the majors. So not expecting miracles from the bullpen. Not necessarily expecting miracles from the offense, although they are coming off of a game where they scored 11 runs. They scored 11, 1, 4, 2, 6, and 5 runs over the last few games. And that 5-run game was a 19-5 loss. So not high on an offense that's 15th in the majors in runs scored, but 20th in batting average and 23rd in on-base percentage. And nobody really scares me that much at the plate for them. I mean, James Woods does have 9 home runs, so maybe that's a little bit of a lie, but I'm not super scared of this offense. Now, they're taking on a Reds team that's only 18-16 on the year. It's not like they've been incredible. They're handing the ball to Nick Martinez, who's 1-3, a 4.68 ERA. His last couple starts, he's finally starting to find his way. A good start there at the Marlins, and a very good start at home against the Cardinals, where he went 6 innings, gave up 5 hits, 1 earned run, struck out 3, walked 2, and we saw the Reds win that game 3-1. So a big step in the right direction there from Nick Martinez. Now, the Reds bullpen, while it was amazing last year, it's been very good this year as well. A 3.52 bullpen ERA has them easily top 10 in the majors. And the offense, while it's not incredible, is finding its way. They scored 6, 6, and 9 runs over their last few games. That will certainly work. Ellie De La Cruz, what is he batting now? Yeah, 275. That will certainly work for somebody with his kind of speed. Gavin Lux batting 311. As a team, they're the 4th highest scoring team in the majors thanks to that 24-point game there against the Orioles. But they're also 12th in batting average, 12th in on-base percentage, and 12th in slugging percentage. So I expect them to put up some runs here, especially against the Nationals bullpen and maybe even against Mackenzie Gore. Now, looking at the numbers for this game, the Nationals are plus 106. The Reds are minus 120. We've got a total of 8.5. Washington 6-12 on the road, 17-16-1 to the over. The Reds 9-9 at home, 17-16-1 to the under. I do think the Reds probably bounce back in this game and get the win. Now, with Nick Martinez on the mound, am I putting this in the pinned comment? Doesn't seem like the kind of thing I'm interested in doing. In our last Major League Baseball game of the day before we hop over and look at those 2 NBA playoff games, we've got the Sunday night baseball showdown between the LA Dodgers and the Atlanta Braves. Now, the Dodgers and Braves are currently playing right now in the top of the 10th. The Dodgers are up 10-3, so I think it's pretty safe to say they're likely to win that game. Now, we'll see how things go for the Dodgers in this one. They're going to be out without Edman here for a little bit. He's dealing with that injury. He's going to be on the IL. They're calling up Kim there, so that's going to be interesting. Another Korean baseball player in the MLB. Going to be cool to see how that goes. The Dodgers have won, what is it going to be now, 6 in a row. Hitting the ball in this one to Dustin May, who's 1-1, a 3.95 ERA. Now, his last start, 5 1/3 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs against the Marlins. It was a 7-6 extra inning win there for the Dodgers, but that's not maybe what I would term as ideal. Now, we do notice that May has some great history against Atlanta already this season. He went 5 innings, gave up 1 hit, 1 run. It wasn't even earned. So struck out 6 and walked 3 in a 3-1 win there over Atlanta back on the 1st of last month. So it's been a month. Sure, things can change, but I'm expecting pretty good stuff from Dustin May in this one. I also think the Dodgers bullpen is one you shouldn't be too afraid to back. They're like 10th or 12th or something like that in the majors, a 3.69 bullpen ERA, and the offense has obviously been pretty amazing. They scored 10 runs in their current game. Hernandez leading the way with batting 303 with 9 home runs and 32 RBIs. They're 4th in the majors in runs scored. They are 5th in the majors in batting average, 4th in on-base percentage, and they're slugging the ball at a 4.57 clip. That's 3rd best in all of the major leagues. So Expecting very, very good stuff here from the Dodgers. No major shock to you there, I'm sure. They're taking on the Atlanta Braves, who look like they're going to take another loss and be, 14-18 on the year. They're hitting the ball to Bryce Elder, hoping he can get them on track. This young 25-year-old's been a bit inconsistent this year. No shock there. He's 1-1, a 5.33 ERA. Now, his last time out, it was at the Colorado Rockies. He managed to give up, 3 earned runs on 5 hits over 6 innings, including a home run. I mean, that doesn't fill me with tons of optimism. He did have a very good start against the Cardinals, but the last time he faced the Dodgers was back on the 2nd of last month. He went 4 innings, gave up 3 hits and 3 earned runs, including 2 home runs. So that doesn't make me feel great. The Atlanta bullpen has not been nearly as good this season as last year. A 3.88 bullpen ERA is not great, and the offense has pretty much disappeared. They've scored 3, 1, 1, 8, and 6 runs over the last few games. Now, they're 17th in the majors in runs scored. They are 17th in on-base percentage, or 14th in on-base percentage as well. Now, nobody's off to a great start. I mean, Sean Murphy does have 20 home runs, but he's batting, 234? Like, I'm not going to overreact to that. So, looking at these numbers, the Dodgers are minus 155. The Braves are plus 130. We've got a total of 9 or 9.5 out there. The Dodgers are 5-7 on the road, 18-14 to the over. Atlanta's 8-4 at home, and a 500 over/under team. I'm definitely taking the Dodgers here at minus 155. The only question for me is this going to go in the pinned comment? Because I fully expect the Dodgers to take advantage once again of Bryce Elder. I think Dustin May is going to have another good start against the Atlanta Braves. And I think here on Sunday Night Baseball, we're going to see the Dodgers show out and get another road win. Now, guys, we're going to hop over and cover the 2 NBA games on this pretty exciting playoff slate. It's been a crazy playoff so far. Interesting and very cool to see the Nuggets handle business there in Game 7 over the Clippers. But now we're looking at a Game 1 of the second round. We got the Indiana Pacers going on the road to take on the Cleveland Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference, semifinal. So pretty exciting stuff. Now, we did see the Pacers win 2 out of 3 there in the regular season. I'm not that going to get, that much into the 2 games they played in January. I don't think those are relevant anymore, but they did play 2 games there last month. The problem is not everybody played, and by not everybody, I mean very few of the key players played in those 2 games. So not a ton we can draw from those 2 very competitive Pacers wins, but they did win, so we give them a little bit of credit there. Indiana comes into this one fresh off of winning that 5-game series there against Milwaukee Bucks. There were some very close games in there. Obviously, the Bucks were not at full strength with no Dame. That was pretty unhelpful, and yeah, I feel pretty bad for Giannis, but we'll see what the Pacers can do in this one. Obviously, they come into this series very healthy, so that's, a big step in the right direction as they, try to take on the Cavaliers here, who swept the Miami Heat. They've had plenty of time to rest and recover. Now, the problem here for the Cavaliers is they could theoretically be without Darius Garland, who is dealing with that, toe issue. I would say he's probably going to play in this game. I'd be a little bit shocked to see him not play, and he was very productive there against the Heat in the games that he did play. So I'm generally expecting Darius Garland to suit it up for this one and give them a full team. Now, looking at, some individual matchups here, I mean, I think this definitely favors these Cleveland Cavaliers a good amount. Now, we've seen some good stuff from the Pacers, don't get me wrong, and they can throw teams off their game, but the depth that the Cavaliers have here really should do a good job of countering Indiana, because Indiana would love to wear you down, but when you're bringing in Ty Jerome and DeAndre Hunter off the bench, that's a pretty good couple guys to bring off the bench. They're going to score some points. They're going to they're not going to let go of the rope. Now, obviously, Donovan Mitchell, Strus, Mobley, and Jarrett Allen have to play well in the starting role, but I like a lot of what's going on here for the Cavaliers. Now, the depth for the Pacers is also solid. I mean, TJ McConnell coming off the bench running the point is good. Mathurin, playing bench minutes, also very, very good. Obi Toppin has been an aberration this season a little bit, like playing really, really well. And even Thomas Bryant's doing some solid stuff. So definitely plenty of depth on both sides for these teams. Now, looking at the numbers for this game, guys, the Cavaliers are at home. They're 8-point favorites. We got a total of 229. The Pacers, 20-23 against the spread on the road, 46-39-2 to the over. Cleveland, 23-19-1 against the spread at home, 54-32 to the over. That's an NBA best mark to the over. Now, in terms of the total in this game, I think we want to lean a bit towards the over. It's a pretty big number, so that's not one I'm super interested in, but I am interested in the Pacers here getting 8 points. I think this is going to be a very competitive game here right out of the gates. Both these teams are well rested. I don't see anything that's going to keep this from being a very, very competitive game. So getting 8 points, I know there are going to be a lot of possessions in this game, but getting, 3 or 4 free possessions, definitely something I'm interested in. So give me a good hard look at the Pacers here getting 8 points. But we've also got some player props I like in this game quite a bit. And right off the bat, I like Ty Jerome over 12.5 points. He scored 18, 13, 6, and 24 in that Heat series. So pretty respectable stuff. And now that's going to be, this is going to be a very high-paced series. They're going to need him to come in and score and give guys some rest. And I don't think Ty Jerome's going to have any trouble putting up some points in this matchup. I also like Miles Turner here over 6.5 rebounds. He had 9 boards in game 5 against Milwaukee and should be athletic enough to stay out there and compete on the interior against guys like Mobley and Allen, and his rebounding will be very, very important in this series. Last but not least here, guys, we are looking at the Houston Rockets and the Golden State Warriors playing this pivotal Game 7 out there in the Western Conference. Now, Game 6 went the Rockets' way. The Warriors could not get anything going in the fourth quarter, got embarrassed there in the fourth quarter to eventually end up losing 115-107, a game that the benches being cleared made it look much, much more competitive there for the Warriors. But embarrassing stuff there for Golden State to close the game. Now, Curry and Butler played well the entire rest of the game, but couldn't get it done in the fourth quarter, and they felt like they were out there by themselves. I mean, Moses Moody did score 13 points. He did some positive stuff. Pajemski, not his best night, but also not a disaster, but everybody else pretty bad. The Warriors looked like they were going to have a good shooting night, eventually end up shooting 30% from the three-point line, and I don't know, guys. It was looking pretty rough out there, especially in that fourth quarter. They closed the gap to 2 points headed into the fourth quarter, and then the first play of the fourth quarter, Gary Payton fouls Fred VanVleet on a 3, and Fred VanVleet makes it and makes the free throw. So pretty disheartening stuff. We'll see if there's a bounce back in this one for the Warriors, who obviously have the experience edge. That could be a big deal here in a Game 7. You got Jimmy Butler, you got Steph Curry, guys that have been there, done that. The Rockets do not really have that. I mean, they have Fred VanVleet, so that is helpful, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. Obviously, Fred VanVleet continue to shoot the lights out would be super helpful for the Rockets, but does he have another game like that in him? Can Jalen Green do anything positive? He has been floundering ever since that monster game. He's just had a really, really tough time. Only scored 12 points in the last one, 1 of 6 from 3 and 3 of 11 from the field. So we'll see what the Rockets can put together in this one. Both teams come into this game looking very, very healthy and ready to go. So that's nice. You want to see everybody ready to go. The numbers for this game have the Rockets as 2.5-point favorites. We've got a total of 203.5. The Warriors 24-18-2 against spread on the road, a slight over team. Houston 23-21 against spread at home, a slight over team as well. I'll take over 203.5 in this game. Certainly seems like a very reasonable idea to me. In terms of the side, I will definitely take the Warriors here, getting 2.5 points. The experience is on their side. The Rockets are due for some sort of shooting regression, especially from Fred VanVleet, and I think we see Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler come up big here and make this game a win for them. Now, looking at some player props for this one, I'll take Jimmy Butler here over 23.5 points. He had 27 tough points in that Game 6 loss, and in Game 7, I think we see him come out strong and just get it and make it happen. He's going to get to the line. He's going to put pressure on the refs and the defense. Getting to 24 points for playoff Jimmy, not going to be a big deal. I also like Draymond Green here, over 4.5 assists. He had 7 assists in a pretty bad Game 6 where nothing positive happened in the fourth quarter. And with everything on the line, I fully expect him and his teammates not named Butler and Curry to step up. Also, I think Butler and Curry will play well, but Draymond is going to get some assists to some other guys as well. And getting to 5 assists seems reasonable. We're going back to the well, guys. Gary Payton, over 0.5 made threes. He made 1 3 for us in Game 6. That's all it's going to take here in Game 7 as well. I think he finds a way to knock one down. Obviously, Houston, more than happy to let him shoot the ball in these situations and keep the ball out of, guys like Curry's hands. That's not who you want shooting the ball. That's all the games we have for today, guys. Hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Most importantly, get over to stumpthespread.com. Check out that free email list. Get on there. You just need your name and your email address. That's it. It'll get you on that free email list. You're going to get tons of free information straight to your inbox. Also, check out everything else we offer over there. It's definitely worth a look. Let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate. I'm more than happy to get back to you every single day. I love answering those questions. And whether you say something nice, whether you say something mean, I'm more than happy to hop in there as long as you keep it semi-respectful. And also, guys, I just appreciate you watching these videos. So don't worry. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place for more sports betting action.